Dobrý večer, moje meno je Dalibor Slávik a vítam vás pri sledovaní ďalšej časti formátu Večer programu najväčšej z organizácie Nexteria. Ja som veľmi rád, že dnes máme až 3 diskutujúcich a ja by som vám veľmi rád predstavil pani Janu Varačkovú, ktorá pracuje ako Head of Cash and Cost Operations Bratislava, pána Mattiasa, ktorý pracuje ako CFO Corporate Solutions a pána Jozefa Prekopa, ktorý pracuje ako Head of Non-Regulated EMEA Carriers Reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Pleasure to have you in such a discussion.
Good evening as well to everybody.
Dobrý večer also from my side.
And thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. Well, I'm sure not only headhunters, as I do, is aware of Swiss Re, that is one of the largest employers in Bratislava. And I would start with the first question, because Bratislava operations is your second largest, is it?
Yes, that's true.
Why Bratislava? Is it because of the location of the capital of Slovakia, or is it because of universities that are producing your colleagues, or is it because of something else? Tell us something.
Well, very good question. And this whole thing didn't happen overnight. I'm sure you can all imagine that it took some time to become the second largest location of Swiss Re. And well, there are, I think, various factors. One of them is our location. We are sitting in the heart of Europe, and it's very easy for our headquarters to come and to travel to Bratislava. So we are very easy accessible. We have really talented and also educated people, as you have mentioned at the beginning. I think more than 90% of our employees have university education. And another thing is that Slovakia is one of the EU whitelisted regarding personal data protection. And this is pretty critical for our company. So maybe these are the key factors, but what I would like to mention is that the company started in Bratislava very small. So in 2006, which is 15 years ago, there have been I think 10 people, the first 10 people hired, which have been supporting the administrative services for asset management. And from that time, we have grown. And looking at today, we have the finance event and finance evening. So the finance started in 2009 in Bratislava with 30 people, and I was part of these first 30 people. And now we are more than 500 people in finance. So I see a huge development, and I think it's mainly because of the capable people which we have, and the fact that we haven't been just delivering the work, but also we have surprised with some additional capabilities which we have. And during the period of time of these last 15 years, we have moved from the transactional processing to more sophisticated work, and even driving some of our company projects directly from Bratislava.
Well, it seems you a long-term employee. Seems that Swiss Re is quite a good employer, is it?
Yes, I approve that we have happy employees, because I'm here for 11 years already.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Can you tell us more about what are the departments that are operating in Bratislava?
Sure, maybe I can take this one. This question. As you've heard, we have more than 500 people in finance, and that's about 1/3 of the total number of employees in Bratislava. And from this number of people, you can imagine that we have basically very variable positions in finance, ranging from the basic accountants and transaction processing people, all the way to the controlling and reporting departments, which deal with complex financial statements and financial instruments, for example. We also have a group tax department, so dealing with the tax questions where we have many departments which deal with their areas globally for Swiss Re. So they cover all regions and all business units. As Matthias here is the CFO of Corporate Solutions, one of our business units, also the other business unit, Reinsurance, is present in Bratislava very largely with a lot of people. I can also say that we have many people responsible for technical accounting of reinsurance products, but also non-technical accounting for like real estate, fixed assets, pensions. What can I also say? We have a lot of people dealing in finance with internal controls and processes.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the region. How many countries do you cover from Bratislava operation?
Mm-hmm. So as I've said, there are many people, many teams which cover Swiss Re globally, and that would mean maybe even 30 different countries. If we have teams that cover EMEA region, that could be up to 10 countries within Europe.
I'm sure the tasks and duties that you cover from Bratislava developed in the meantime. I have a question. The future of finance-related operations at Swiss Re in Bratislava, are you moving to some new horizons, or what is the development of the jobs that you have in Bratislava?
Maybe I take this one. So, overall, and I speak here on behalf of the whole global finance leadership. So, my boss is the group CFO of Swiss Re. And I think overall, Bratislava, I can only reiterate, and I live myself in Bratislava, is a fantastic spot for Swiss Re, without any doubt. And I think we are very, very happy that we are here. I think the trend that we will see, and that's not very different probably to many other companies, is that we started, like Jana said, with a lot of transactional work, like accounts payables and cash and so on. And I assume, or we believe, those jobs will over time a bit more automate. Certainly those jobs will still be needed, but I think there will be more and more of highly sophisticated finance staff needed, a lot of on the analytics front, about business partnering, controlling, and so on. So I think we will switch very strongly from way less transactional over time to much more sophisticated jobs that we see here, which will obviously in the same time increase our requirements to the employees. So we will need more and more highly qualified people, and it will become even more important that people continue to get educated and continuously learn for being here on top of things. Maybe one extra thing at Swiss Re. You must not forget, Swiss Re is a highly sophisticated company. Reinsurance is a relatively complex business. So I think if you love internationality, because we are an absolutely global company. We have I think 100 nations working for Swiss Re, and we have offices in 35 countries or so of the world. And if you like to think about complex stuff, then Swiss Re is certainly the right place, because that's a bit our reputation and what we stand for.
You mentioned recruitment. How many years ago, Matthias, did you join Swiss Re? Jana joined 11 years ago. You?
Yeah, so I joined 8 years ago, but in Zurich. So I started in Zurich, and I was 4 years in Zurich, and now I'm 4 years in Bratislava already.
Was it hard to get a job at such a company that is globally operating?
Well, I had, to be totally transparent, I had the luck that I used to work for McKinsey in a consulting company, and I did a project for Swiss Re, and my boss liked me, and then he asked me to stay instead of just rolling over the project. So frankly, sometimes you just must have luck to find the right employer, and working in consulting, was a very good springboard into Swiss Re. And to be very clear, consulting profiles are also profiles that we are also interested in at Swiss Re, because that's people that can be used in many different ways and are very fast in learning new things.
Sorry, they perfectly knew you before you joined the company. And Jozef, how many years did you join the company ago?
So now I'm hearing. I knew about Jana, but didn't know about Matthias. How many years he is with Swiss Re. So I'm the youngest here from the tenure with Swiss Re, only for 2.5 years now, and I joined in 2019 because I found the position that was open in Swiss Re very interesting and appealing for my interests and career progression.
Okay, let's move to the other section. Is it hard to recruit or to hire or to attract people in Slovakia?
Mm-hmm. Well, as it was mentioned, we have a big finance base here in Bratislava, and we still keep growing. And that's why we are still searching for talented, motivated people and people also who have this can-do attitude. That's very important for our company. But as you know, there are also other companies sitting in Bratislava which are many times searching for very similar roles. If you look at finance, so the roles are very similar in the nature. And of course, we have competitors with whom we have to fight for the best candidates. But what I would like to mention, and I see it happening more and more often during the interviews which we are having with candidates who are coming, is that they say that they have heard about our company from a friend, from a family member. And this is what I think is very strong. If other people or people who are working in our company are recommending their friends to join the company. Because I think this is really the best way how we can really get also good people. And on the other side, our people are also motivated because they can also get the referral if they bring a talent, which we will also hire at the end. So it is tricky sometimes to really hire the right people. And especially we also have certain requirements. So we like to really find the right person rather than just take a person because we would like to close quickly the opening.
I see.
And also looking at the hiring, I mean, recent months also showed that we are a very stable company. And even in the difficult COVID times, I think we have been one of the least companies who didn't stop hiring. So we have been still hiring our open positions. And we had to also adjust because we have started to work completely virtually from our homes, every one of us. And big also compliment to our HR team, who has really adapted. And we have been running not only the interviews, but also the entire onboarding virtually without any big issues. So, yeah.
That's the way to go when your own employees are your ambassadors. And the work word of mouth is really strong channel. You mentioned can-do attitude, but let's talk about some skills, or combination of attitude and skills. What kind of skills might I need if I be considering join Swiss Re?
Maybe I take this one. So, I mean, first and foremost, I just can reiterate what Jana said. The absolute most important thing when we hire is mindset. So the most important thing is that we want people who are keen to work in such an international environment, who want to reach something in their career, who want to really develop. Swiss Re is a fantastic employer. Also in the insurance industry globally, we are seen as the thought leader really globally. So it's frankly a bit of an honor, if you ask me, to work for Swiss Re, because if you want to work in insurance, Swiss Re is one of the absolute best and most attractive places. And also in Bratislava, employees here are not just like one small tiny piece of 100,000, but Swiss Re is not a huge company. We are only 12,000 people globally. So everybody here is really does something that is very sophisticated and broad. Yeah. So as such, mindset I think is the most important thing. That you really have this attitude of you want to reach something, can do. You are committed to the job and so on. In terms of skills, look, obviously it is, especially if you start at higher levels already, not in the entry positions, Clearly, it's accounting skills that we look for. It is controlling skills we look for. More and more also analytics and partly also programming skills that you can do analysis and so on, Tableau and Power BI, stuff like this. So that's also more and more in finance a crucial skill set that you are a bit of a digital native, and digital native not just in the sense that you use Facebook, but that you really partly are able to program macros and stuff like this, because the analysis is more and more at the very heart of our job instead of just reporting out numbers.
I see. Do you have some issues finding to some finance backgrounded people, like you mentioned, analysis, controlling, or other areas? Is there something that you are missing when hiring finance positions? Let's make it more clear. What kind of financial specialists are the hardest to recruit?
I can only repeat what Jana and Matthias were saying. Really, as they were saying, mindset is the most important for us, and then these technical skills it's good to have for the candidates that we hire. Definitely, we provide a lot of training programs for people that we can then develop them, and they can focus on the development of skills that they need for their daily job. But definitely the hardest to recruit is a complex person, a person that has all the mindset and the technical capabilities. Really, I can say that we are also looking, and this was not yet mentioned, but Swiss Re is also going through many global projects and initiatives to make our life easier. So, for example, we implemented SAP as a global tool for accounting and reporting, and also we are transitioning to IFRS. So these are also areas which we look for when we hire people nowadays, and these are very important for the candidates to have. It's not really easy to find a person which has a good knowledge of these things. I mean, IFRS is still is a very complex accounting standard framework, and people in Slovakia, although they study IFRS or have some experience from other industries, reinsurance and also financial instruments area are very complex. That's why we struggle to find sometimes people with these skills, but it's getting better. I know that universities are preparing people for these types of experience. And also, I must say, maybe the last point I would like to mention here is, as was mentioned, we are the global firm, and really for us, the fluent English is, for example, very important, which is currently not a problem in Slovakia, but the talent pool with English as well is getting smaller. So we encourage people to learn English, and really when they apply for Swiss Re, it's very important.
Thank you. Let's imagine I will graduate in 2 or 3 months. What kind of jobs can you offer such a fresh graduate? I have the can-do attitude. I have absolutely no, let's say, relevant knowledge because I just did study, didn't work while at the university. Do you offer such jobs for fresh graduates?
Yes, of course. We have various types of jobs, and also the jobs which are the right ones for the fresh graduates. For example, we have accounts payable roles, which can be a very good starting point for a person who is finishing his or her studies. But I would maybe look at it a bit differently, because I think we are offering the jobs, but what we as a company are also offering is the development, as it was mentioned already by Jozef. Because our goal is not just to hire the person and let the person do this job for 5, 6, 7 years. Our desire is really to develop our people to more sophisticated roles. We are supporting even movements of our people within our company. So, for example, for my team, I had various colleagues who have started in our accounts payable team, but later they have moved to accounting team, for example. So what we like to see is that talents are joining us and they are not leaving us. We would like to keep the talents and to see how they are growing and how they are developing within our company. And we have many of these examples, and not just the professional progression in the expert path, but for example, in my team, I have several team leaders who started as accounts analysts, and they have developed into a team leader position, and now they are leading several number of people. And I think this is really great to see that we have these great career opportunities within our company.
Perfect. I've seen some questions on Slido already. If you are interested to know some or you have some questions, please type your question at #NotSwissRe. And I'm sure we go to students' questions, and money and development is the most discussioned, topics for young people. Let's imagine I will graduate college and I'm considering to go to finance, economics, whatever other fields. What would you recommend me to study?
Maybe I can take this one. As we already mentioned a couple of times, there are certain areas which we look for when we hire people, and not just in Swiss Re, but generally, I think young people should look at the world and what's being changed right now, not only because of pandemic, but there are long-term trends to change the world as we know it. So maybe in a couple of years, some of the jobs will disappear completely. Some of the jobs will be changed a little bit, but definitely there are areas where people can contribute in many ways, and they can look at some of these areas and find something interesting for them in those areas. I can tell, as I think Matthias already mentioned, there are many things like programming languages and this maybe digital solutions, artificial intelligence, that's more and more becoming relevant for finance as well. And I know that many universities in Slovakia already opened some finance majors around data science and or this artificial intelligence, informatics in finance in general. And so these are the qualities that will be very, very looked for in the future by many companies. And another example could be this IFRS that I already mentioned. So it's just not like purely accounting for the local standards, but looking more globally into IFRS. Also, I know a couple of people in Swiss Re who have like couple of, or maybe they have two majors. They have law and economics. I also know that Economic University in Bratislava has a major economy and law, which is also something which can be very interesting, and people can combine these skills of law and economy, and when they can put it into perspective of business, like Swiss Re reinsurance business, they will be very valuable in the future.
Thank you. Matthias, is there a difference when you consider people from Germany or Switzerland or Slovakia that you have met in your career? Is there a cultural or any other difference, or is it the same?
No, so look, I mean, there are certainly nuances. Yeah, so I'm German, but I work for a Swiss company, but live in Slovakia. Yeah, and look, I think, for example, the German and the Slovak mentality, I think, is actually pretty similar. If you ask me, especially where I grew up, which is in Bavaria, actually pretty close to the Czech border, so I don't think there's huge differences. And where I would see, however, differences is clearly versus, for example, Asian colleagues and so on, India as an example, or Americans. They would clearly see very significant differences, I must say. I think the one thing that maybe the Swiss and the German are a bit more is they are a bit more, how shall I say, I wouldn't say bureaucratic and maybe a bit less flexible, but on the other hand, with the positive thing that they are maybe even more diligent than some of the people naturally I see here in Slovakia. So the pluses and minuses, but actually it's nuances within Europe. So within Europe, I think that the mentalities are pretty pretty similar as such. But again, if you compare it to colleagues in India, I had a very big team also in India. That is a different mindset, and you just need to deal with it. But that's what Swiss Re is about, this internationality, that every day you speak to people from Brazil to Australia to India to Japan to Canada. Yeah.
I see. You mentioned universities a couple of times. Do you work or do you cooperate with some universities in Slovakia or in Bratislava or in Košice, any other city in Slovakia?
So that is my understanding. I don't know whether the colleagues can help me out, whether there is explicit ones, but I think it's always the major finance and economics universities where we cooperate with, and where we basically try to also get students from. Like I said, for us, what is really relevant is if you work for Swiss Re, that will mean that you work in a highly sophisticated, so your studies should certainly also be at a good quality level, because we try to go for the top talent, to be totally transparent, and that's how we interact. I don't know whether Jana or Jozef, you have concrete examples of Comenius or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I think we have regular presentations at the Economical University in Bratislava about the financial topics, but then we have also some other collaborations with the Nexteria Leadership Academy. This is one example, and then also we are working with Challenges. That's like kind of a competition for students where they are working on a concrete business case. So these are a few examples, and maybe looking at also the graduates, because this can be interesting for people. We are also having a graduates program in Bratislava. And this can be also a good starting point for young people, because it's an 18-month program during which you are able to experience 3 different departments in Bratislava and really go through the work, the processes, get to know the people. And this can also help you to better understand not just the work and the topics, but also the environment which we have here in Bratislava, and also the way how we are working. So this can be also another opportunity to get or to learn more about our company.
And how many students are involved in this 18-month program of the Swiss Re company? Is it like 10, 15, or 20, 154?
I don't know the exact number, but I think it was around 10 or 15 people. So it's not huge. It's really there is a selection, but it's a really program which lasts for a longer time. So you need to also give some investment, of course, time investment, and also you need to be willing to learn. But at least the feedbacks which I have heard and seen from the past graduates which have been part of the program, they really liked it. And we could really meet them on the floor. So it was like, they were like our colleagues.
Oh, thank you. Unfortunately, if it would be the regular time, we would be sitting in one room discussing over the table. But we are sitting in Bratislava discussing over the digital cables. My question is, how did this pandemic situation affect Swiss Re, maybe with the employees and also with the financial results? Did pandemic affect the financial results?
Yeah, so maybe I take it, I take it actually. I first start with the financial results, because I'm representing a significant chunk. So my business unit alone reported almost 1 billion of claims related to COVID itself. And then the business unit reinsurance, where Jozef, for example, works, they on top reported something in the I think 3 billion almost of COVID losses. So in total, I think we are now at about 4 billion. So very significant losses, and I think on the life and health side, that's very easy to understand. Especially now, we reported last Friday in the US, which is our by far biggest market for our life and health portfolio. There were just more deaths, the highest mortality rate we saw in the entire pandemic in the US. So as such, obviously we pay the claim. So, but that was expected, yeah. And frankly, this can always happen, and our risk models were modeling it. Where we did not anticipate such claims, to be totally transparent, and like I said, in the non-life insurance space, that we have about 3 billion of losses. It was really on this that governance would shut down everything, and that suddenly we will have to pay for sometimes in places for things getting closed, event cancellation. We had a very big claims, like trade fairs, soccer events, football events, sports events, and so on. We had to pay because they didn't take place. So this was a very significant hit for Swiss Re. The good thing is that, look, we have 4 billion of losses and still the company stands in an extraordinary financial position. That also shows you that we are financially and fantastically strong capitalized company. Now coming to the individual side of COVID, I think Swiss Re did a fantastic job in the COVID times. Like my colleague said, we are fully on online mode. We were prepared already before the pandemic. We had what is called own the way you work policy. So we allowed people to work from home when they need, and we have the laptops, the connections, secure connections, and so on. All of that already existed before the pandemic. So we were extremely well prepared. And now, as we are in the pandemic, I think Swiss Re is very generous. Every employee received like €200 extra to overcome cost that he has on top. We are very flexible, like for parents, as an example, on working times, and just people work in the evenings because during daytime they had to take care of the kids and so on. So I think we offer seminars for mental health and so on. So I think in the management during the COVID pandemic, I think Swiss Re is really it's a role model company, if you ask me. And I think our employees recognize this. And on top, like what Jana said, we continue hiring. Yeah? It's not at all that we just suddenly came into a crisis and we stop everything. But we continue to invest in our people. But it's clearly a strain. I think everybody will be very happy to come back to the office, which you can very nicely see behind Jozef, for example. We have a beautiful office here in Bratislava. So let's hope we can return soon.
So at the moment, do you have some plans that you can work from home, or you can even go to the office based on some rules, right, to be safe?
Correct. But the reality is there's very few people in the office because you have to wear the masks everywhere. And if you talk so much every day, like I'm 12 hours per day on the phone, then it's just a difficult thing with the mask. But obviously, we hope that the situation continues to improve, and then at some point we might just be able to go to at least work from the desk without mask. And I'm sure then also more people will come, and our office is prepared. Yeah, we have put it like one desk occupied, one free desk, next one again occupied. So we are ready once the government allows, and we can practically implement.
So when, let's say, future black swan appears, such as this pandemic, you kind of prepared because you've been prepared thanks to the digital performance even. So you are fine with what comes next. We will see what it looks like, but you're prepared. How did you support your employees? Employee assistance programs and these kind of things? Because you're hiring people, you had to ensure them it's a safe place and it's a stable company. How your company supported your employees during COVID times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think many of the things have been already mentioned by Matthias. So there were there was monetary support. So each of us has really received additional money, which people could use to buy the necessary equipment. So they can not just work from home, but they can have also a convenient working environment while they are working from home. We have also received a day off in January. So all the employees had a paid leave, which we could use to really take some time off and just relax and get some energy. And also this employee assistance help. This is something really special, and it's working for each and every employee. It works 24/7. and you can call a helpline and you can discuss work-related problems, your personal problems, because COVID hasn't just impacted our work life, but also our private life, and each person is dealing with this change situation differently. So this is really something that is being offered, and you can really talk to a specialist. And I think nowadays, we all see it in the news that people have mental problems. It's difficult for them to deal with the situation because they had kids at home. They had to do everything around the house, do the work, and just also to have some time to relax. And I think this is a really good thing what our company is providing. And still, because we cannot just sit and do not progress. What I also would like to mention is that we have also, adjusted some of the trainings are provided in the virtual way, so people can still develop even in these difficult times. There is a way how they can develop. We have many great virtual trainings conducted by professional people, and you can participate in them. And maybe last point, which I think is important as well, is the crisis management. So I really have a feeling that we have really good crisis management in our company, and also the way how the communication was floating to our employees, what are the rules, how the communication was done on the staying at home, then on the re-onboarding during the summer last year. I think this was managed on a very professional way. And I think it's, again, a sign that the company cares about its employees.
Yes, a good leadership.
And maybe I
and
can mention one more thing, if I may.
Sorry.
Dalibor, if I may just mention one more thing, because we are talking about the business and people development, but also we have not forgot about the fun, and many teams actually participated in the virtual team buildings, which was very, very good to see that they did a virtual cooking, or they did a virtual treasure hunt, or a virtual painting, and globally, because before in the office we could do this, like 10 people in Bratislava could meet, but these days we actually did virtual team building from India, Bratislava, Kansas, Zurich, all together, and it was really funny.
Let's not forget fun, of course. How do you see the future? We've discussed, some jobs might disappear in a couple of years, some will appear. How the automation affects not your business, but the jobs that you are doing right now? Do you work with RPA or these kind of things?
Yes, we are. So I would say the technology and automation is here already, and it's impacting us. So it's not the future. It's the future is here and now, and we already see some, I would say, even nice examples of automation and freeing up of time of our people for doing more sophisticated work. So in general, I think we should see technology and this automation as an opportunity, not as a threat, because I think we all appreciate improvements in our personal lives. I'm sure we have many apps, all of us, on our mobile phones, which are making our lives simpler and easier. And I think we should look at it in the same way also if we talk about work and our jobs, because currently we see already some examples how technology is helping us to avoid manual work. For example, we are not typing anymore details from invoices, but what we have implemented is OCR functionality. So it's a technology which is reading the invoice and is entering certain fields for you into the system. So you just need to go through and check whether, of course, it was entered correctly, but you don't need to do it by yourself. So you can focus on other activities. And maybe I will not share more on this, because today we have a webinar on this topic later on at, I think, 8:15. So I would like to welcome everyone who is interested to learn more what kind of automation we did and what we are focusing on, to join and to hear it directly from our colleagues.
Perfect. So we don't need to discuss it at the moment. and let's move the topic to webinar. I think it's time because it's 6:45, and let's move to questions that students are interested to know. If you're fine with that, of course.
Perfect.
What is the average junior entry-level income at Swiss Re? Sorry to jump directly into the money, but money at the beginning of your career and potential for development is what young people are interested into the most, I think.
Maybe
Yes,
Jana, you start.
Yes. I have to say this question is not surprising for me. I have expected it, so I think it's very natural. And of course, it's everyone would like to know what will be the salary. And if you will look at really the starting junior positions in finance, we are talking at the minimum starting salary of 1,100 euros. But this is really the minimum, and always please take into consideration that the salary depends on your skills, on your experiences, and so on. We have many candidates who are fresh graduates, but they already have been working in a different company on a part-time position in finance. So this is also being considered as an experience, because I see this more often that really young people try to work during their studies, and they are trying to get the experience. And I think this is the right thing to do. So this is more for the really junior starting positions. For the more experienced positions, it starts at 1,500 euros. And just to also be clear, these salaries are also available. So if you check our offerings of positions, you can do it also very easily through our Swiss Re career page. For each opening, you can also see the minimum or approximate salary which you can expect. But it's always about the discussion and always considering your concrete skills and really your concrete experiences which you can bring to our company.
Definitely. Maybe just one extra word to Jana. So, look, our philosophy is certainly not to be necessarily for the entry salary the highest paying company, to be very clear. But what we basically say, look, if people deliver here well, then they grow up very fast in terms of hierarchy as well as salary level. Yeah. So I think when you join Swiss Re, you are sort of committing yourself, and you open up opportunities, and you actually also for your CV, you create a huge thing. It's a little bit, when I compare back my time at McKinsey, the salary I got was frankly also not the highest one at all. Yeah, some others they went to other companies, went more, but it opened me doors and education and learning, and you grow then very fast. So I think we are competitive in the salary, but we are probably not the market leader. But in return, I think at Swiss Re you can also grow much faster than anywhere else. I'm directly reporting to the group CFO. I know the group CEO extremely well, and so on. And so you can reach this in Bratislava without a doubt.
Okay, perfect. And if I'm a university student, do you offer part-time jobs?
Yes, we have.
Or Jozef, yeah.
Maybe I can take this one. Yes, we do. So we mostly hire full-time positions, but there are definitely positions where we can hire just for part-time, because we have peaks during the day or during certain periods of the year, and we are very flexible. As was mentioned, we have on the way you work concept. So if someone applies for a job and would like to work part-time, if that accommodates the business requirements for that role, we can accommodate it. We try to be very flexible with our employees. And as was mentioned, when we are looking for these junior positions, many times these are students who are working still together with studying at the university. Yeah, so definitely part-time jobs are available.
And I won't be doing coffee and washing dishes. I'll do the job that is related to the core business of Swiss Re, right? Okay.
We have very expensive and very good coffee machines. So it's actually rather a pleasure to go there. You have like 8 sorts of different coffees there. So
that's what we are missing. That's what we are missing. What we don't have at our homes. This variety of coffee which we have in the office.
Okay,
we don't work with paper anymore. So we try to be environmentally friendly, so we don't work with paper anymore. Everything is nowadays in electronic forms. So people are not really dealing with copying and scanning. These are all jobs which are not relevant for Swiss Re anymore.
Okay, thank you.
But for example, we are having some part-time students during the summer period. Because you can imagine our people would like to take off during summer because they would like to travel. Let's see how it will be this year. But we are trying to really use this time to also give the opportunity for students to join and to really help us out during this period. So you can imagine they have to really cover the work which normally other people would do. So they are really doing the normal job of our employees.
We have a question from next CEO or CFO maybe, because it sounds like how often do you promote people at Swiss Re?
I mean, maybe I take it. I think it really depends. I mean, we have people that it depends on your performance. If you're a superstar, I mean, then I can actually see you getting promoted like every 18 months or 2 years or so. Yeah. So it really depends a bit. But on the other hand, let's also be realistic. I think you can relatively fastly grow into a bit higher hierarchy, but at some point, and I had to do the same, you also have to broaden yourself. Yeah. So it's also sometimes good to, even if you don't necessarily make a step in terms of hierarchy, that you just work in another area and thereby you become more holistic profile and you can then go for the next job. So I think you have to be a bit careful, flexible. But I think if you start and if you're a fantastic person, then you can easily get promoted every 2 years or whatever. But again, it all depends on your performance and your and how you want. And frankly, if you want to come into levels like where we are, or especially I am, you need to be also internationally mobile at some point, maybe. Yeah. So if you want to become really someone, the group leadership like then you will need to be willing to go, for example, to Switzerland, maybe for a few years or stuff like this. It's certainly also helping.
Thank you very much. And do you have a lot of lifetimers, or do you rather tackle frequent job changing? That's another question.
Well, maybe good question. Jozef, you can. You feel free. I can add if I will want to.
Maybe so I'm here maybe just for this something more than 2 years. But what I observed, this is both. So we have people who like the position that they are with Swiss Re, and they are with, and they maybe will spend there another 2, 3, 5 years, and because they like the job, they like the environment, they like the team they are in, and so on. But then, as Matthias said, and maybe that was the question from the audience, that how often we promote people. So then there are these proactive, engaged people who look for the growth in the company. So that's why we also, and we don't stop those people. So we have an annual cycle of evaluation of performance for people. If they are really skilled and contribute well, then they don't have any doors closed. They can really move really fast in the hierarchy. And not only vertically, but also horizontally, as was mentioned, we offer rotations. So in that case, people move within Swiss Re, either to the higher positions or vertically horizontally to different positions in different teams, where they can also develop themselves further. So, I mean, it's a combination of both lifetimers, but also frequent changers of some positions.
Maybe just one thing to add, because we have also these positions where we have also people who have just graduated, right? So really fresh graduates for whom our company might be the first experience of a full-time job. So what I see, and I have seen it also in the past, is that because it's a first job, sometimes people are not so patient. Yes, it's true that you can progress in your career, but sometimes, it's not possible to do it within 6 months or within a year. So I think you should bring some also piece of patience, because it's also important, and to also work on yourself. And sometimes people are leaving just because they are curious. How is it in other companies? Because we are the first company for them. And again, what I'm happy about is to see that actually the people who left are then trying to get back, because they really, after they leave, they appreciate what they had here. And I think this is again a good sign that we are really doing a lot for our employees. So, and the other thing, what I see, people who already have certain experience from different companies, they rather stay longer because they can compare and they see the difference already after they start in the first few months.
That was a nice answer. I would definitely agree. What kind of managerial vocation does Swiss Re offer to its junior level staff?
So you mean in terms of like mentoring and the likes?
Mentoring, do you have some managerial programs, to develop skills if someone's talented to naturally deal with people and might be leader or has a leader's skills?
Absolutely. I mean, we clearly have leadership programs actually at all levels. We are on the mentoring front. I mean, typically we assign mentors also for the new joiners and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of attention. And look, I mean, there's also Swiss Re is very flat from a hierarchy perspective. Yeah? I mean, as an example, I have 250 employees, and I still know most of them, and so on. So, and there's no difference at Swiss Re. So there's nothing that prevents of even juniors of having contact with very seniors and so on. So, I think this is a cultural thing at Swiss Re where we are very good at, that there's very flat hierarchies and people can very easily get mentorship. And for example, if you reach out to someone and you say, could I have lunch, just to get to know you, and even the person is 5 levels above you, normally most people will say, yeah, happy to. I'm happy to share my experiences. So that's really the culture that we have here.
Perfect. It's disappeared. Oh no. How does Swiss Re fight financial hoaxes? I'm not sure whether I do correctly understand the question, because I'm not from finance, but maybe you do.
Well, I guess what the colleagues or the person that asked means is if there's you called it black swan events before. I mean, basically big financial crises that we have, like COVID and so on. Look, I mean, I can speak from an investor perspective, and there it's just Swiss Re has so-called solvency ratio. So basically, the amount of capital that the regulator asks us to keep, and our ratio was at the year end at 215%. So we have more than 2 times as much capital as we would need to have by the regulator. So we are a company that is relatively conservative in terms of holding capital. So our way how to be prepared is to have a very thick capital polster, which you can then use if need be. And secondly, obviously, we try to price risk accordingly well. Yeah. So I mean, we obviously try to see that we have risk limits. Yeah. I mean, there always have to be limits, and so that if the world collapses, Swiss Re does not go under. So, but that you have to be smart in how you write your insurance contracts.
Thank you. Maybe one of the last 2 questions. Why should I choose reinsurance over insurance as a job?
Well, I would say you can do both with us. So I'm actually leading an insurance, so a commercial insurance company. You're right. We are not like Allianz or Cooperativa, who has like personal lines such. But even there, we do first steps with iptiQ, our white labeling business unit. So frankly, whether it's reinsurance or insurance, I wouldn't make a too big distinction. When you're good in insurance, you will be good in reinsurance. When you're good in reinsurance, you will be good in insurance. So don't worry too much about this one.
Yeah, actually, what I wanted to say that you don't need to decide. You can just join us and you can experience both.
Perfect answer. Thank you, Jana. And what kind of benefits actually does Swiss Re offer to its employees? You mentioned coffee. Okay.
Yes. How much time do we have left? Because we have, I could talk about it for an hour. So.
Well, 20 seconds, let's say.
Okay. So we have monetary benefits. So various monetary benefits, for example, like the lounge vouchers are covered in the total amount of like around, I think it's 84 euros, and it's fully covered by us, by the employer. We are providing 5 days of additional vacation on top of what is provided by the Slovak law. We are also offering, for example, sick days. So you are allowed to take 6 days of sick days during the year when you are feeling unwell, and you do not need to bring any paper from the doctor. You can buy company shares with very good conditions. So it's also a nice way how you can live with the company more. And what else? I mean, we have really many of them. So
insurance, we provide insurance to our employees and so on. So there is really, in terms of benefits, Swiss Re is actually one of the, I would say, most attractive employers. Probably benefits are a significant part also why you sort of join Swiss Re. And we also at all levels have a bonus. Yeah, so that's also interesting. And you can actually, your bonus, it can be up to 2 times your. So you have a target bonus, but if you perform very well, then you can actually double the bonus even. Yeah, so it really, we are very performance driven on that matter. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we are with our employees is also the coverage of medical centers. So up to a certain amount we pay for the medical center annually for each employee, and also the third pillar of social insurance is also covered by Swiss Re.
And not to forget also our parents. We also have a kindergarten directly in our premises, so it's managed by external provider. But we have also available daily childcare for our employees, and this is also to motivate our moms to get back to the office earlier. And this is the way how we are supporting really also this group of our colleagues.
Well, thank you very much. We started with why Swiss Re chose Bratislava, and we are ending with the money and with the benefits. So I'm curious how many people are considering now career at Swiss Re. Thank you very much, Jana, Matthias, and Jozef, to have you in such a nice discussion. I wish you health and I wish you luck, and hopefully when this pandemic is over, we will meet someplace in Bratislava at your premise or on some restaurant, cafe. Thank you very much. Take care and have an interesting night.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.